What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be basically showing you guys how to make a chainstay protector. I recently did this on my bike and it has worked perfectly. It has completely eliminated all of my chain slap, and yeah, I thought I'd share it with you guys because it works so well on my bike, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so what you're going to need for this project is some old inner tube, some scissors, and some zip ties. Okay, so the first step is to cut your inner tube into one long strip. I usually keep the width just about under an inch. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's these little lines on the tube, and I find those really good just to guide your scissors so you can get a nice, straight, clean cut. Alright, so with your tube cut, now we're gonna start wrapping it around your chainstay. Now you wanna make sure that this is nice and clean, free of any dust, because you don't want this tube rubbing against that dust, scratching your frame underneath. Okay, so to start, you're just gonna wanna start wrapping it around, and you wanna keep moderate tension on it as you wrap it around, not too tight. Now, once you've got it wrapped around a few times like this, you should be able to let go and it should be able to stay. You're gonna wanna get your zip tie and put it around the end right here and pull that nice and tight. I like to hide this big part of the zip tie around the back right here, so I just pull it around, or down near the bottom, pull it around and tighten it down at the bottom. Bring that nice and tight. Grab some pliers like these, little wire snips. You want to snip it off nice and clean. Okay, with that zip tie on and everything tight, make sure that that tube hasn't gotten too loose, and then you're just going to want to start wrapping it around the chainstay, and you want to overlap just about half the width of the tube. Okay, so I'm almost at the end, and at this point what we're going to do is you want to hold this nice and firm, and then you're just going to want to cut your tube just an inch or two down to give you enough to wrap the rest of it. Just cut that down there, and then finish the wrap just like this. Now, sometimes the end will end up wrapping around the back and you won't see the end. If, like me, it ends up like this, what you can do is just take your scissors, bring this back around, and just cut diagonally along the tube so that when you finish wrapping around, just gives a bit of a cleaner look. And while you're holding that, grab another zip tie and wrap it around. Okay, now with that all wrapped, the last step that we're gonna do is make some little ridges with this inner tube right here. So we're gonna stick it here, stick it there, and then that will create a little ridge. And this works really, really well for stopping the chain from hitting hard into the chainstay. So what I use to stick little pieces of inner tube on is super glue. That's what I used on my bike and it worked really well. But unfortunately, I ran out of super glue, so I'm gonna have to use some other glue, which is a quick drying epoxy, and that is complete overkill. You do not need to use epoxy, but I'm just using that because that's all I have on hand. Now, depending on the width of your chainstay, that will determine how wide you're gonna have to cut your inner tube. So this chainstay is quite narrow, so I'm gonna have to cut this reasonably narrow. Now we'll glue them on. Okay, so because I'm using epoxy, I'm just using this little piece of wood to apply the glue, and you just want to apply a bit of the glue on either end of the tube, and then with that glue applied, you're gonna want to place it there and then position your ridge. Okay, so I just finished putting the first one on, and yeah, I would definitely not recommend using epoxy. It's just super messy, and yeah, definitely use super glue for this. Do not use epoxy because it just doesn't work as well, because I've had to like tape it down and it's just really janky. All right, just finished sticking these on. Again, epoxy is super messy, don't use it. I'm gonna quickly show you what it looks like on my bike because it's finished and all stuck down, just so you guys can see what it looks like on another bike. All right, so here it is on my personal bike. As you can see, I put 5 of these little ridges on here just because my chainstay is a ton longer. And I also have my little chain tensioner here, which works super well. If you guys want me to do a video on that, let me know in the comments. These, as you can see, are getting a bit old now. The chains wear them down a bit, but that's not really a problem because these can be peeled off if you pull them off really hard, and they can be replaced. But I've had this on here for quite a while now and it's held up really, really well. All right guys, that is the end of the video. If you enjoy this kind of content, please consider subscribing. And yeah, I hope you'll try this out on your own bike. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.